Influences on the origins of organization development. So the Hawthorne studies are considered to have set the stage for the development of OD. And the goal of the psych study at the Hawthorne plant of the Western Electric Company in the 1920s and 30s was to try and create an environment where workers and management could cooperate and be productive simultaneously. So that was one of the studies. However, there are several Hawthorne studies that were conducted in order to study behaviors within the workplace. For instance, such as the famous illumination study, for example, which is also discussed in the text. So being that OD is grounded or rooted in the social sciences and mainly concerned with interpersonal relationships, is how Hawthorne helped, or the Hawthorne studies helped to develop the OD field, one can say. A second influence is laboratory training, which are behavioral psychological centers, which mainly use training groups, or abbreviated to T groups, which are used to help improve communication between individuals and or is a method of learning about human behavior. So furthermore, T groups programs are used to raise worker productivity and morale through better communication. The T group movement is a key in the origins of OD because of its emphasis on communication and relations between group members. A third influence is socio-technical systems. So they are in organizational development. It's an approach to complex organizational work design that recognizes the interaction between people and technology in workplaces. So every organization consists of a social system, and without considering an organization's social system can bring about chaos. A third influence into the origins of the OD field is survey feedback. An important finding from the Hawthorne research studies was that employee attitudes play an important part in organizational functioning. So survey feedback is a program or intervention which is used in order to assess how employees feel about different aspects of their work environment. So basically try and identify the attitudes or the different attitudes of all of the employees within an organization. So moreover, it refers to the process of gathering information about an organization by allowing employees to give back to management by means of administering scientific surveys to workers. So survey feedback became a cornerstone of organization development belief and practice because it was a fundamental method to help OD practitioners to make a proper diagnosis of organizational problems, because most of the time it was found that it is typically employees who often have a better understanding of work-related problems than their managers. And then a fourth influence onto the field, the birth of the field, is the organizational culture. So what it is a shared belief and value system that organizations pass on to newcomers, such as accepted ways of behaving, roles, and norms within an organization. So a major activity of OD practitioners is to study these roles, norms, and other aspects of the culture to determine if they help or hinder the organizational mission or a mandate or mission statement, I guess. So when a culture in an organization is strong, this means that assumptions about customers and competitors in society is understood, and employees hold similar views about the company and its environment, and that its environment can make the organization more effective. So the rules that govern an organization's culture are learned through organizational socialization. So this is a process in which new employees learn the correct way of behaving on the job. Another point for organizational culture is that it has always been a central concept of organization development because it is necessary to make or apply some change in an organization's culture in order to even introduce a planned change into organizations. to help them better prepare for their future. So many OD interventions are descriptions basically applied to an organization's culture. And it was also mentioned in the text that it can be seen that historically OD grew out of the Human Resource School of Organizational Theory and has been greatly influenced not only by that but by the contingency theory and humanistic psychology. The future of organization development. At the beginning of the field of organization development, interventions were mainly focused to address organizational problems such as training groups or T groups and survey feedback. Then in the 1970s, just as a brief history of the types of interventions, OD focused on interventions that led to improvements in specifically organizational efficiency. Then in the 1980s, organization development shifted once again, moving its focus into doing interventions which targeted specifically quality management, which measured management effectiveness and interdisciplinary knowledge and the role of power within organizations. And then in the 1990s, OD focused on enhancing management style and were helping organizations develop new strategies as well. So being that the field of OD is defined by organizational changes and a changing world of work that is constantly developing, OD is said to be undergoing a revolution. And it is because of this OD specialists can no longer rely on the early or primitive kinds of interventions, such as I mentioned earlier, T groups and survey feedback, to address the different types of OD problems in organizations. So in order to make effective and successful interventions in the future, OD specialists are going to need and acquire different types of skills than what was previously required of them. So OD experts expect future issues will begin to focus on issues that affect the entire organization versus individual work groups. As well, the values of organization development. So the most basic belief of organization development is that people or individuals are the cornerstone of organizational success, because it is strongly believed that in OD that the most meaningful changes come from individuals themselves. So this continues to be a core value of the field, which began as its sole focus in its early stages or development of the field. This is why OD practitioners dedicate a large emphasis or focus on interpersonal relations, attitude change, and personal growth. However, more recently, organization development expanded and also focuses on systems and structural interventions. And just a list of other core values of the field are strong belief in personal growth. So organization development specialists believe that situations can be improved by educating employees and introducing a planned change, which can highly be effective in helping not only organizations but individuals meet their challenges. Another value is that organization development practitioners firmly believe in a theory Y as opposed to a theory X approach to managing. They believe all workers are open to change and seek growth, and that most workers will respond favorably to challenging opportunities. Another value is the recognition that emotions, personal values, and interpersonal relationships are a critical part of an organization's success. So group relations, which historically roots from the OD field and is also known to set OD apart from other methods of organizational change. So OD approaches take into consider or recognize the irrational and interpersonal aspects of organizational life. Another value is the belief that organizational functioning is enhanced when people feel comfortable expressing both their opinions and feelings. So for example, when a conflict arises and it is expressed openly and addressed openly, it can be very helpful in bringing about effective change. And lastly, another value is that organizations must be considered as systems with interdependent parts. So changes in a specific or one area of the organization is likely to affect other areas of the organization as well, and even changes in behaviors of certain individuals in the organization is very likely to also result in behavioral changes of others.